So I recently got on a call with TSG and he went through PvP with me. I saw exactly what it looks like. I saw him actually play a real-time match. Now I was told I couldn't screen record or take any screenshots, but for the most part, the information that he told me, I can tell you. So I'm trying out some new things with this video. Ignore this little symbol down here. I have 5 topics that we're going to talk about at the bottom here. If I like this whole setup and it works, I'll just pay the money to get rid of all this and make it look cleaner. But I'm going to tell you everything I learned and took away from this call that I had with TSG. So for game modes, and right now I'm talking about just the private beta. By the time we get to open beta, there's going to be more features, things are going to change. I'm actually not even going to go into a lot of the numbers for damage and points or stuff like that because that is all subject to change as well. But for this next private beta release, we're going to get 3 different game modes. We're going to get your casual game mode, your ranked game mode, and your custom match. So your casual game mode is just going to be you just want to hop in and try a new deck. It's unclear whether they're going to have some kind of like elo or ranking behind the scenes to match you up, but that's basically like the free for all. You just made a new deck and you want to try it out. The ranked mode is what's going to get you on the leaderboards, so you will have a ranking score and a rank on a leaderboards, and this is when you'll queue up for a match. It'll match you up with someone of a similar level, and just like any other game, if you beat them, you'll get some points, move up the ranking. If you lose, you'll drop down the rankings a little bit. And then the custom match is going to be where you can actually challenge somebody. And that's going to be great for, anyone making content, because I can talk to, TSG or Jimberino or somebody else in the space and just say, hey, send me your little code or whatever it is. I'll plug it in and then I can just challenge them and actually play somebody I know. And on that note, I'm going to try more streaming, and when this is playable, hopefully soon, I'll get to that a little later. I want to challenge some of you from this community, especially those who are consistently watching these videos. So next we have win condition. So this is a screenshot that I was told I could use. It's from a match with TSG. You can see right there, TSG. Yeah, he lost this one, even though he did win the one that I watched him play. These green and red marks are each round. I'm not sure exactly who this is. Dungeon Lord. Oh, that might actually be Nick. So he won the first 2 rounds. TSG came back and won 3 rounds in a row, and it went back to Nick, and Nick to finish it off. Now, how you win this is, anyone familiar with the private beta already in survival mode, is you have mastery points, and when you put alluvials or augments onto the board, you use those mastery points. So it's going to be the same way here, except at the end of each round, whatever alluvials you have left, those mastery points are the damage that you're going to put on your opponent's drone. And it's not just the alluvials, it's what's on top of the alluvials as well. So say there's a round where I finish and it's just my Ramfire left, which let's say has 100 mastery points, but I also have an augment on it that has 25 mastery points. So I'm going to take that 125 points, and it's going to be the damage that I put on my opponent's drone. Now, if you think about this, these matches can play out for a long time and they can have big swings. Like if you're going back and forth and you're winning a round with 1 alluvial left, your opponent wins a round with 1 alluvial left, you can go back and forth. It could be up to 10 rounds or even more. And with that being said, you could win 3 or 4 rounds in a row and then just lose horribly. Like if you win 4 rounds in a row with just 1 alluvial left, you might put 50 damage, 100 damage, 75 damage, and then all of a sudden you have a bad round and you just get completely demolished and your opponent has all of their alluvials left on the board. That could be one turn where you have 600-700 points that just gets smacked onto you. So that's going to be great for, entertainment and just esports and making content. So we'll move on to legendary items. So obviously this isn't a real screenshot. I just kind of made this up. These are some old augments that I found I had saved somewhere. But basically on rounds, you can see up here, 1, 4, 7. So on the first round and then every 3 rounds after that, you'll get to bid on some of these legendary items. Now you're going to have 4 tokens or whatever they want to call it to bid on these. So you can see I have, I put 1 here, 3 on this side. You can spread those out however you want, but you're obviously blind to what your opponent is doing. And let's say I did a situation like this where I really wanted this one over here. So I put 3 of my tokens on this and I put 1 on the other one. Let's say my opponent also put 3 on this one and 1 on this one. It'll cancel it out and nobody will get anything. Now say my opponent decided to put 1 on this, 1 on this, and 2 on this. Then I'm going to get this 1 legendary enhancement, and my opponent's going to get the other 3. So there's going to be a lot of strategy behind that, depending on which augment you really want, or which augment you really want to prevent your opponent from getting, or which augments you think your opponents are going to try for. And I feel like if you can end up in those situations where you get 2 or 3 of these and your opponent only gets 1 or nothing, that can be a big factor for that next round. So team building. So this is actually a screenshot of, I guess, TSG's favorite deck so far. Also, they're not calling them decks. They're calling them teams. I didn't really get a good explanation on why that is, but I guess we're going away from calling it a deck and we're calling it a team. So your teams are made up of 30 different cards. I believe you have to have a minimum of 6 alluvials, but other than that, it's a free-for-all. So you could go in and just have your favorite 6 alluvials and then a bunch of augments and weapons and armors. TSG in here, I think, let's see, 12, 14. He has 14 alluvials, some weapon, armor, and augments. Once we can get into making these teams, I'm going to dive a lot deeper into it. I already have some strategies I'm thinking of in my head, but until you can really, put it down there and test it out, it's hard to really go too in-depth on it. But you're going to have to balance having a deck that has synergies that work together, but also diversification for whatever your opponent might have. And if you're thinking more of the late game, you might want to stack up more on the augments down here. Because if you can only fit 6 to 8 of these alluvials on the board and you want more points, you're going to have to load them up with these augments. So once we get this team builder out, which is going to be starting on the website, it won't be in-game immediately. I don't know exactly how that works, but like you'll build it on the website and transfer it over to the game and then use it within the game, just for now. And then let's move on to launch dates. So there's actually 2 different items here. Like I just said with the team builder, it's going to be on the website and not in the game yet. So there's a chance that these don't actually have to be launched at the same time. They both already look ready to go, so I would expect these to come soon, although I don't know for sure. But I also wouldn't be surprised if this team builder came out a little earlier, because if it's ready to go and if it's not tied to the actual game launcher, maybe they let that come out first. We can start building some teams, coming up with some ideas, and then when the update for the PvP does finally come out, we already have our team builders in place. Now again, I don't know for sure on timing on any of these, but like I said, watching it, I didn't see one bug. There wasn't any crashes. From what I hear, they're playing this a lot internally, and they're not really having too many issues. So this was originally delayed. It should have been out in Q3, and since they moved the target date to Q4, I really wouldn't expect it to be the end of Q4. I'd say we might be getting this pretty soon. If we get into December, I'd be shocked. I'm gonna put my money somewhere in November there. Hopefully before the Thanksgiving holidays, at least here in the United States, because I'm gonna have some time off and I'll be able to play as much as I can. But that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you like this new setup, if it works. I'm just gonna try new things to hopefully improve the quality of the content that I'm making. That's it. Thanks. Catch you next one.